Every morning, millions of men destroy something that took 8 million years to build. A few strokes of a razor, 30 seconds, gone. Almost none of them know what they're actually erasing. Here's the detail that should stop you cold. You have roughly the same number of hair follicles as a chimpanzee sitting in a tree right now. Not similar. The same number. Your body never stopped producing hair the way theirs does. So why do you look nothing like one? Somewhere between 2 and 3 million years ago, something switched off across your ancestors' bodies. Not thinning, almost total. Every other primate on Earth kept its coat. Every single one. You are the outlier. And an outlier that extreme doesn't happen by accident. Something forced it. For over a century, scientists argued about what that something was. Then they found it. And it wasn't gentle. It was heat that could kill faster than hunger ever could. Picture it. Midday sun. No shade for miles. The ground shimmering like a stovetop. Your ancestors weren't hiding from that heat. They were running straight into it. On purpose. For hours. The anthropologist Nina Jablonski spent decades tracing why. Her research points to a hunting method almost nobody on Earth still needs. Early humans weren't fast enough to outsprint their prey. So they didn't sprint. They followed. One animal. For hours. Sometimes most of a day. Across open grassland. Under a sun with nowhere to hide. Until the animal's body simply gave out. It worked. But the strategy had a death sentence hidden inside it. Run for hours under direct sun, and overheating kills you before starvation gets the chance, and thick fur is the worst possible thing to be wearing when your own body becomes the danger. It traps heat exactly when you need to release it. So evolution made a trade. Fur for sweat glands. Millions of them, packed into human skin at a density that puts almost every mammal alive to shame. But fur blocks sweat from evaporating. So for the cooling system to actually work, the fur had to go. Almost everywhere. Mystery solved. Except it isn't. Because if losing hair was purely about staying alive, why would any of it survive at all? And out of every square inch of skin on your body, why would one very specific patch, almost exclusive to men, simply refuse to disappear? This is where the heat theory stops working completely. Look at where hair actually survived. The scalp, shielding the skull from direct sun. The eyebrows keeping sweat and grit out of the eyes. Both still fit the cooling logic perfectly. The beard breaks it. A beard doesn't make you run faster. It doesn't help you sweat. It does the opposite of everything your body just spent millions of years engineering, trapping heat in an area lined with blood vessels sitting close to the surface. So something else has to explain it. Something that has nothing to do with survival at all. Charles Darwin noticed this exact contradiction in 1871, and it genuinely bothered him. A trait with no survival benefit, showing up again and again across human males, generation after generation, like clockwork. His answer broke his own rules. Not natural selection, he argued. Something else entirely. Selection driven by who got chosen, not who survived. For well over a century, that idea just sat there. A guess from a man with no way to test it. Then someone finally did. The researcher Barnaby Dixon showed people photographs of men with different amounts of facial hair, clean-shaven, stubbled, fully bearded, and asked one simple question. What do you assume about this person? The same pattern surfaced. Study after study, group after group. Heavier beards were rated more dominant, more mature, more capable of holding ground in a fight. Every single time. And here's the detail that turns this from a theory into something you can practically feel under your own skin. Facial hair growth is wired directly to testosterone and to something called androgen receptor density, essentially how loudly your skin listens to that hormone. The skin along the jaw carries far more of these receptors than almost anywhere else on your body, which means your beard was never decoration. It's a printout. A visible readout of hormonal activity happening beneath the skin, whether you wanted to broadcast it or not. Ancient humans had no blood tests, no labs. They didn't need one. One glance at another man's jaw gave an instant read, before either of them said a single word. In a small tribal group, where reading a stranger correctly, fast, could mean the difference between an ally and a threat, That instant signal was worth more than any weapon. Here's the part almost nobody expects. Some researchers think the beard did double duty, working as a kind of built-in cushion, softening blows to the jaw during the physical conflicts that were once far more routine than they are now. Not armor, just enough padding to matter, back when a man's only weapon was his own fist, which means the exact patch of skin that broadcast your strength may have also been quietly absorbing the hits that came from someone testing it. Two completely different forces, shaping the same 3 inches of skin. One force stripped hair away everywhere else, because in that heat, fur had become a liability that could kill you. The other protected one single location, because there, hair wasn't fighting your biology, it was advertising it. So the real reason men still grow beards was never about hair. It was about information. For nearly the entire span of human history, long before language could be fully trusted, your face was already telling the truth about you before you opened your mouth. Which brings this back to you. This morning, a few seconds with a razor and a signal that took millions of years to build is gone before your coffee finishes brewing. Other men spend real time and effort growing that exact same signal back, shaping something their ancestors never had a choice about growing in the first place. Here's the thought that should actually follow you out of this video. Every time you look in a mirror, you're not looking at a face. You're looking at a broadcast tower your ancestors built out of hormones and skin, one that's been transmitting the same message since before humans had words for any of it. You just happen to be the first generation in that entire chain with a hand on the switch.